The King and the Wise Man. Long ago, in a land of golden sun and high palaces, lived a king named Shriram. The king had everything. He had rooms filled with gold. He had gardens that smelled of jasmine. He had servants who bowed at his feet. But the king had a problem. He was bored. Nothing surprised him anymore. Nothing made him think. Then, one quiet afternoon, a man named Sissa arrived at the palace. The gift. Sissa was a wise man with a calm face. He carried a wooden board with 64 squares, 32 white and 32 black. He also had a bag of beautifully carved pieces. Your Majesty, Sissa said softly, I have brought you a game. It is called chess. The king sat down to play. For the first time in years, his eyes sparkled. He had to plan. He had to think ahead. He had to be clever. Hours turned into days. The king was so happy that he made a grand promise. Sissa, the king cried, this game is a masterpiece. Name your reward. I am the richest king in the world. Do you want a chest of diamonds? A fleet of ships? An entire city to rule? Speak, and it is yours. The request. Sissa bowed low. He didn't look at the king's gold. He looked at the chessboard. Your Majesty, Sissa said, I am a simple man. I do not need jewels. I only ask for a little bit of wheat. The king laughed. Wheat? You want birdseed instead of gold? Tell me how much. Sissa pointed to the first square of the board. On the first square, place 1 grain of wheat. On the second square, double it, 2 grains. On the third square, double it again, 4 grains. Keep doubling the wheat for every square, until you reach the end. The king shook his head. You are a fool, Sissa. You could have been a prince, but you ask for a pile of grain. Fine, my servants will bring it to you by sunset. The surprise. The king went back to his game, thinking he had gotten a great bargain. But in the palace kitchens, the counting began. The servants started small. Square 1, 1 grain. Square 2, 2 grains. Square 3, 4 grains. Square 4, 8 grains. By the 10th square, the servants had filled a small bowl. By the 20th square, they needed 16 large sacks. By the 30th square, they realized the palace granary was empty. The king's head accountant rushed into the throne room. He was shaking. His face was as white as a sheet. Your Majesty, he gasped, we have a problem. A terrible problem. The king looked up, annoyed. Is the wheat not ready? Sire, the accountant whispered. To give Sissa what he asked for, we would need more wheat than exists in the whole world. We would need a mountain of grain taller than the highest peak on earth. The giant number. The king stood up in shock. He realized his mistake. He had looked at 1 grain of wheat and thought it was small. He didn't understand the power of doubling. The final number was a monster. 18 quintillion 446 quadrillion 744 trillion 73 billion 709 million 551,615. If you laid that wheat end to end, it would reach the stars and back. The king looked at Sissa. He wasn't angry anymore. He was humbled. He realized that Sissa was not just a game player. He was a master of the world's greatest secret. The lesson. The king didn't lose his kingdom that day, but he did lose his pride. He learned that small things, when they grow steadily, can become more powerful than any king. From that day on, whenever the king looked at the chessboard, he didn't just see a game. He saw the power of a single grain, and the wisdom of a man who knew how to count.